Yo,
All
good
right,
day.
we are live.
Good day, sir.
Good day to you.
So, your question, you were asking me a question a moment ago about StreamYard.
I was.
What was your
Question
question?
was, how do you like StreamYard? Have you tried like the alternatives and what do you think?
I do like StreamYard overall. I, for whatever reason, only have like a mid-level plan, and I think I need to upgrade to the premium plan or whatever so that I have more places to stream. Which every day I log in here, I'm like, oh, I'm only streaming to 3 places. That's stupid. I should be streaming to all the places. So there. I like how easy it is. I log in, I turn it on, it works every time. There's no BS. And it can stream to all sorts of places. I'm currently also paying for Be Live, and I believe that Be Live is much more limited in where they can stream. And I went and I looked again at Restream, and Restream seems like it can stream to a lot more places, but I think it's more difficult to use, as I recall. So I'm using StreamYard right now because it's the most convenient for me to use and the most reliable. But I haven't been aggressively testing the other services, though I would love other suggestions. One thing I don't like about StreamYard that I think probably isn't going to get solved with any of the other services is that on some Facebook channels, we can't see the name of the people who are making comments, which is a little bit of a bummer. But one way or the other, I love the fact that we can do multi-platform live streaming on multiple channels all at once. You know, that is great. It's really wonderful that we can reach audiences on multiple platforms, multiple traffic sources in real time while creating live, everlasting, evergreen video content. Like there's not been a time like this in history where it's so easy for us to create live interaction globally and permanent content all in one move.
Hold on, before we go any further.
Hold on.
Before we go any further,
hold the phone.
Speaking of, we'll get to your phone in a minute, but before we go any further, do we have a giveaway for our people today? Any prizes?
You know, I was disappointed at yesterday's giveaway. There was a video that we did yesterday where we were giving away copies of My First List. And this was, I believe, a 2005 product that I created. It was my first runaway, like, smash hit product. I made a crap load of money with like little effort. And we sold tons of them. And it's an audio program with PDFs. And I said I was going to give away 99 of them, as many as 99 of them, if people followed 4 very simple instructions. And we only had 3 people complete it. I was like, lame. So I might do another giveaway in the future, but not today. You guys are going to have to work a little harder for it. If you guys want a copy of My First List, go to yesterday's post, which is on all the platforms that this is currently broadcasting on, and read the description and watch the video, and you too could win yourself a copy of My First List. But yesterday we had I'm still setting you guys up with this, by the way, but we got Will Horton, we got Jacqueline, we got Eric Oliver, I believe, were the 3 people that actually completed the 4 simple steps to win this product that I used to sell for $197 that teaches the core philosophies and principles of list building and email marketing. The core philosophies and principles have not changed in 20 years, which is crazy. The execution is more sophisticated. The execution takes more grace and awareness and intelligence. But The reason for that is because it's so much easier for people to use email marketing now than it's ever been, right? So with ease comes sophistication if you really want to do extraordinarily well, right? Because there's a lot of competition. On that note, there is a lot of competition. Our email inboxes are chock full of email. Who reads their email every day? Most people do not clean out their email inbox every day. I know that I don't think I ever have. Brian, you've been an email marketer for a long time. You've had alliances with, had partnerships with, have worked with all sorts of marketing gurus who've used email marketing as one of the core pillars, if not the core pillar of their business for many, many years. And you've also coached entrepreneurs who build their email lists and use email as a way of making money. And I'm curious, in your opinion, how often should one email their list? This is a very common question that's come up every single year since I started doing this 20 years ago. It's like, how often? This is a question everyone wants the answer to.
It's a really good question. So one thing I will say is that for all of, and I'm pretty sure I'm 100% right on this, for every 7-figure company that I've worked with or consulted with, they all email their list every single day, sometimes multiple times a day. So now, am I saying that someone who's just getting started with email marketing and they're the solopreneur and they have a million other things going on, is that like the benchmark they should be aiming for? Not necessarily, but it does overcome the objection that I frequently hear from the solopreneur or the upstart, and that's the objection of
no, there's a difference between an upstart and a startup, my friend.
Upstart and well, I'll let you clarify that in a second, but someone who's kind of just getting into like digital marketing, their biggest fear is, I don't want to email my list too much. I don't want to annoy them. I don't want to email them every day. What if they unsubscribe?
Dude, so I've always had a different answer to this question, but for some reason, as you were talking, something new just blossomed in my mind.
Okay?
It's pretty sweet. Ready? You're right, by the way. You're totally right. I agree with you. But as you mentioned, and when you just mentioned the resistance, the hesitation that new entrepreneurs or new email entrepreneurs have about not wanting to email their list more frequently, you proved my point. So watch this.
Okay,
hold on. I'm going to make a banner. Okay, create a banner. How often should you email your list? No, should I? That sounds better. My list. Add banner. How often should I email my list? Brian, when you're in a marriage or a romantic partnership with someone, how often should you say I love you?
Every day.
Every day. Do you really need to? You don't need to say anything else. So here's the cool part. So that was the first thing that popped up in my mind as you were answering the question, how often should I email my list? For some reason, it was like, how often should you tell your partner that you love them? Every day. And people are going to remember that. Like, it just sticks, right? But then you went on to say several things which are also true. You went on to say new email entrepreneurs are hesitant to email their list every day, or are hesitant to email them too frequently because they don't want to annoy them. They don't want to bother them. They don't want them to unsubscribe. So they don't connect because they're afraid of rejection, which is the same reason people don't say I love you. Right? Like when you're in the beginning of a relationship and you don't want to be the first person to say I love you, and you're like, you're doing that.
I'm out of here.
And you're like, oh, if I say I love you too soon, they're going to be like, oh no, that's too much too fast, and they're going to run away and all that stuff. But that's the same hesitation that we have when we're building an email list and we don't know what we're doing yet. We're uncomfortable. We're awkward. We don't really know what the relationship is going to be. And we don't really know how to do it. You're afraid of saying I love you to the person on the other end of that email address. And the answer to your question is, how often should I email my list? It's the same answer to the question is, if you're in a committed romantic relationship with someone, how often should you say I love you? If you have a child, how often should you say I love you? And we all know the answer to that question. The answer is every day. So I guess we can stop our live stream. What do you guys think about this? Do you like what we're talking about here, guys? Is this cool? I'm like feeling a little giddy about it. Like I wasn't expecting this today.
Let me add something to that. So along the lines of the email, right? So, should you make an offer in every email you send? Same resistance there a lot. So the analogy I love to talk about is any TV show that you watch. I know it's a little bit different in this day where everything's like on demand and you can skip the commercials and stuff. But say like network television, all the TV, whatever your favorite TV show is. I like to watch the late night talk shows. I watch Jimmy Fallon a lot. So can you imagine if, say tonight, if they're on before they go live, if Jimmy Fallon gets his staff all together and says, you know what, maybe tonight we shouldn't run the commercials because we don't want to upset anybody. So tonight we'll just do the show, we'll do the interviews, but let's not do the commercials tonight.
Let's not do the thing that makes the show money.
Right. What if the local news? What if the local news is, you know what? We should not run commercials today because we might offend somebody.
Yeah.
No, absolutely not.
Yeah. In that case, you don't have a business, in which case nobody gets to watch your show in the first place. It's true. One of the interesting things here that like sours a lot of people's minds toward internet marketing, but I kind of like it, is, well, we all know infomercials.
Yep.
Actually last Christmas, I bought myself a slap chop for the house.
I don't know what a slap chop is.
You don't know Vince Offer and slap chop?
I don't think so.
Oh, dude, we're going to have a separate episode about that. That's a whole nother thing. But infomercials, especially old school, late night, like 1980s, 1990s infomercials. When you're watching these things, it's like a big demo, or it's a big product demo. They're showing all the ways you can use it, all the things you can do with it. Even if it's like, I remember I bought Don Lepre's How to Make Money with Tiny Little Classified Ads from a late night infomercial back in the day, probably like after high school, but before college, in that zone, something like that, trying to figure out how to make some money. And I know a lot of people don't like infomercials, but the people that are watching the infomercial at the time like the infomercial. They're watching it for whatever reason. They're watching it, and they're not upset when there's a pitch. Maybe they're upset because they don't have the money, but usually it's like $19.95. It's not that big of a, you know what I mean? Like, people can make it happen. And so at the same time, like, who's upset when you go, and I don't really watch the Home Shopping Network, but I know a few older folks in my life who maybe spend a little bit too much time watching the Home Shopping Network, or have in their lives. And I know that a lot of people love watching the Home Shopping Network and love buying things from the Home Shopping Network, and would be pissed if you couldn't do any shopping on the Home Shopping Network. So there's something I worked on Ron Popeil's commercials back in the 70s. Who is that that's typing in? We can't see your name. That's awesome. what aspect of those commercials did you work on? I'm curious. So your email list and your ability to make pitches and offers to your email list in a way that they respond to positively, for the most part, by buying your products and services, and riding that line between being educational, engaging, entertaining, trustworthy, a great and inspiring and motivational leader, and one hell of a pitchman, all come together. Like, you need to be able to engage, entertain, care, and sell without regret, without hesitation, and without feeling ashamed of the fact that you have a business and that you have a product or service that's awesome. We have an amazing training. It's called Email Empire. I just spent the last 3 months training our first group of students how to go from taking their existing business that didn't have an email list to having a business with an email list, adding an extra consistent profit stream where their email lists are growing every single day, and they're creating and getting wonderful emails and content out to their lists on a daily basis, all while helping a group of people that they're part of and they care deeply and passionately about. It's called Email Empire, and it teaches you how to build your own email empire. If you want to learn more about it, it's extremely expensive. It's one of the most expensive email trainings on the market, if not the most expensive email training on the market, because it's awesome and it works. If you're interested, shoot me a private message or comment below list building, and then shoot me a private message and we can connect and talk about it. The reason I'm telling you about Email Empire is because I wanted to give you a shameless plug for Email Empire, but I also wanted to illustrate that we're doing a content-oriented video here for you today, answering one of the most common questions that new email marketers ask, which is, how often should I email my list? You can create value in content and engagement and talk about important issues and answer interesting and engaging and important questions while engaging with the people that are interested in buying your products and services all in the same move without being a weirdo. Right? Well, at least not too much a weirdo. I mean, you can do it and be a weirdo too. That's what, but I mean, you know what I mean. You know.
Well, I have to go unsubscribe to some emails after this live stream.
I know, it's terrible. It's terrible. No, so the answer is, how often should you email your list? Is Ray Williams. Hey, Ray, how's it going? Ron Papil, my father owned a motion picture lab. I was a film tech for him. Papil was one of his main customers. Cool. I love it. So I was going to say something interesting, engaging, profound. Oh, yeah. So how often do you want to email? It's the same answer as how often should you tell your children or your partner that you love them? The answer is every day. How often should you sell or make an offer to your list? That is a different question. That is part of the art. So if all you're going for is consistency in your business, reliability, stability, the answer is every day. If consistency, reliability, and stability is your primary drive in your business, then pretty much every email you send out in your autoresponder sequences should sell or lead directly towards selling in a strategic and intelligent and planned out and modeled way. Or you should just simply have a link to buy something in every email, right? That solves your problem, and that will create consistent revenue, especially if you have at least one continuity or membership program installed as part of your business. However, That doesn't mean you have to always sell or promote every day. And it also doesn't mean that there aren't more effective ways to build up mass desire and interest. There are so many more effective ways to build up mass desire and interest. You can do a massive product launch following Jeff Walker's legendary product launch formula model. You can build up to a big webinar. You can do a live challenge following Pedro's model. There are numerous ways that you can build anticipation, build to a crescendo, and boom, pop, and then hit it and get a windfall of cash. And that's great. But that takes strategy, planning, experience, and usually following someone else's very expensive model and training. You should do those things, but that's advanced. If you want consistency in your business, then I recommend that you pitch something every day, even if it's for people to go and consume another free resource. So even if you're pitching people on joining your email list or pitching people on getting involved with the giveaway that you're doing, or pitching people on registering for a webinar that you're doing this later this week, or pitching people on joining your Facebook, following your YouTube channel, or joining your Facebook group, or pitching people on following you on Twitter, or pitching people on following you on Clubhouse, or whatever. I would recommend that you do write with intent. And that intent is to get people to click on the link and do that next thing that you want them to do in the email to continue their journey with you. It's 11 o'clock, Brian. I need to jump on this call. Do you have anything else to say before we wrap this up?
The only thing I can add is just do the thing. Email your list.
That's it. Do the thing. Email your list. The other thing that you really should be doing every day, in case you haven't picked up on this, is start live streaming every day. You're only sabotaging yourself and everyone in your life if you and everyone who could be in your life if you don't. So many people, man. I got to tell you, the majority of the people that I don't accept into Email Empire are people that aren't willing to live stream every day because they're letting their fear guide their actions. Don't let your fear guide your actions, guys. Lean into it. Lean into it. All right. This is Tillman and Brian. Over and out. Goodbye and good night.